Just been thinking a little bit about causality and free will, not really free will, but agency, those kind of discussions that are happening a little bit right now again. And it's funny because there's a phrase that I've heard a couple of times, partly in relation to this and partly in relation to a kind of related discussions, to do with what a brain is and the relationship between a brain and the self. In one of Schlock of God's videos, he was talking about being, the I being coterminous with the brain. I am my brain, that kind of idea. And I've heard a number of people express that. I am my brain. I'm not sure. Maybe. I mean, I've always thought it more likely that I am a kind of an effect, maybe a side effect or an epiphenomenon or a subroutine, something like that my brain seems to be performing in concert with other things around it. But I don't know, let's just run with that idea that I am my brain for a minute and see if we can combine that with the idea of causality. Because the thing about the brains are, as I understand them, particularly human brains, is that they're quite complicated. They're the most complicated things in the known universe, people say. There are more connections in the human brain than there are atoms in the visible universe. Incredibly complex thing that we're only just beginning to scratch the surface of understanding. But so you've got this really complex thing, right, with all these connections and all these neuronal activation patterns are flooding through it, swarming all over the place inside this brain. And that brain is apparently, or maybe at least, coterminous with the self. Well, that must mean that there's more causality, more causation, more patterns of causality, chains of causality happening inside the boundaries of the brain than is happening outside it, or is happening in the connections between brain and body and world. There's more things going on in here, more causal connections are happening in here, more patterned activity happening in here than is happening here. Yeah. So if I am my brain, then all those causations are not happening between me and the world, or happening out there in the world, and then I am a kind of subject to them. They're happening inside my subjectivity. They're happening inside the 8 pounds of flesh inside my head. So I don't know. What does that mean exactly? Does that mean that I don't know. Does that, if I'm inside the causation, if I'm inside all of that unpredictable causation, does that mean it is me that's doing it because I'm enclosing it in some way, or does it just mean that the propulsion? Is it? I can't even think about it really. Yeah, I don't know. That's all I've got, I think. Is that? Yeah, that'll do. I can't think of anything.